It is 0:30 Universal Time. I'm Mario Ritter in Washington. Hezbollah rocket attacks have killed at least 15 people in Israel. Many others were wounded. Israeli officials say 12 soldiers died when a rocket exploded in a crowd in the town of Kfar Giladi, near the border with Lebanon. A separate attack on the city of Haifa killed 3 people and injured about 160 others. Israeli forces say warplanes later destroyed rocket launchers in the Lebanese village of Kana. Israel says that is where the rockets that hit Haifa were fired. Human Rights Watch says an Israeli air attack on Kana last month killed 28 people. The Israeli army says Hezbollah has repeatedly fired missiles from the area. Palestinian security forces say Israel has arrested a lawmaker from the governing Palestinian group Hamas. Reports say Fadel Salah was arrested after Israeli military vehicles entered the West Bank town of Ramallah. Hours earlier, the Israeli army arrested the Speaker of the Palestinian Parliament, Abdelaziz Douek, in his house in Ramallah. Israeli officials say the lawmaker was arrested because he is a leader of Hamas, a terrorist group. Israel has seized more than 30 Hamas officials since Palestinians killed 2 Israeli soldiers and kidnapped another in June. The Israeli military says its offensive in the Gaza Strip will continue until the Israeli soldier is freed. American officials say they hope for an early vote on a United Nations resolution aimed at ending the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah. President Bush is to make a statement about the resolution from his home in Crawford, Texas. He will be joined by Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Earlier, she urged the UN Security Council to approve the resolution. She called it a first step toward a lasting peace. The proposal calls for an immediate end to Hezbollah attacks on Israel and a stop to Israel's offensive in Lebanon. The proposal also urges all armed groups in Lebanon to surrender their weapons. American troops have begun arriving in Baghdad to help Iraqi forces attempt to control the worsening violence. Army vehicles were seen in parts of the capital. The vehicles and more than 3,000 soldiers had been expected to return to the United States from northern Iraq. But the Defense Department extended their deployment and sent them to Baghdad. Earlier, Iraqi police said a bomb explosion killed at least 10 people at a funeral march. The bomber was also killed in the attack in Tikrit. About 20 people were wounded. Officials say fighting since February between Shiite and Sunni Arabs in Iraq has forced more than 180,000 people from their homes. A United States military court in Baghdad has begun a meeting to decide if 4 American soldiers should be tried for sexual attack and murder. Military investigators say the soldiers left their position in the Iraqi town of Mahmudiyah on March 12th and attacked a family south of Baghdad. The investigators say the soldiers sexually attacked and murdered a 14-year-old girl and killed 3 members of her family. A former soldier will be tried separately in an American civilian court in connection with the attack. Afghanistan's foreign minister is calling on world nations to do more to stop Islamic resistance fighters and weapons from entering the country. Rangin Dadfar Spenta told reporters, Afghanistan is the biggest victim of Al-Qaeda. He accused the terrorist group of working with the Taliban. He said destroying Al-Qaeda is a job for all nations. Earlier, the British Defense Minister said a British soldier serving with NATO forces in Afghanistan was shot dead in southern Helmand province. A NATO statement says the soldier was killed during an attack against resistance fighters in the Musa Kala area. Also in Helmand, Afghan officials said 17 Taliban fighters were killed in clashes Saturday. One American soldier was wounded in a bomb explosion in Kandahar province. The bomber was also killed. International aid officials in Sri Lanka say 15 local humanitarian workers have been shot to death in the town of Muttur. Officials representing aid groups said they found the victims in their office. They had been shot in the head. The victims worked for the French agency Action Against Hunger. They were helping people recover from the huge ocean waves that damaged the area in 2004. Earlier, the Sri Lankan military began new attacks against Tamil Tiger rebels at a disputed waterway in the northeastern part of the country. The rebels say the army attacked as they were preparing to reopen gates holding back water. Sri Lankan officials say they were not told about talks between the Tamil rebels and Norwegian negotiators in which the rebels agreed to open the gates. Officials in Ethiopia say heavy rains and floods in the eastern part of the country have killed 150 people. Rescue workers say the victims were from the Dire Dawa area. China has reopened diplomatic relations with the Central African nation of Chad. The Chinese news agency said Foreign Minister Li Jiaoxing and Chad's Foreign Minister Ahmed Alami signed the document in Beijing. China and Chad first established diplomatic relations in 1972. China cut the ties in 1997 when Chad's government opened ties with Taiwan. Taiwan ended its diplomatic relations with Chad Saturday after Chad announced that it would reopen official relations with China. Briefly, here again is the major news of the hour. Hezbollah rocket attacks have killed at least 15 people in Israel. Palestinian security forces say Israel has arrested a lawmaker from the governing Palestinian group Hamas. And American officials say they hope for an early vote on a United Nations proposal aimed at ending fighting between Israel and Hezbollah. That's the news in VOA Special English.